guys, it's Horsey Steph, and today I am back with another Horse Trainer Reacts to Running Free. In the last segment, Taylor had gotten into an argument with her father, run away, met up with the boyfriend, realized he was cheating on her and really just using her, and did end up coming back to her father's and kind of made that work a little bit better. So I'm excited to keep watching this movie and see if this time around Taylor and her father can actually start to form a real relationship instead of just arguing and fighting and not getting along. If you guys could go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for future videos, that would help me out a ton. And let's go ahead and jump on in.
Just need a little love. That's all.
She really is forming a special relationship with this mare. I'm not sure what kind of caught her attention about her in the first place, except that she didn't like people and maybe Taylor wanted the challenge and just wanted to help this horse be understood better. But I'm not surprised that Taylor's about the only person this mare likes, because Taylor's the only person that spent the time to actually get to know her and respected her feelings in the process. When you act like the horse has absolutely no reason to respond to an environment in the way they do, and you completely invalidate their feelings, it doesn't lead them to feeling safe and comfortable. And therefore, they really never make any change. They're just angry and upset the entire time you're around them. And it doesn't matter if you actually do something or not. So much of their communication, they just want to be heard. I mean, in that sense, horses are no different than us. Being heard is so freeing and liberating for them. When you don't hear a horse consistently, they start to get cranky and nasty, and then it just becomes their way of interacting with people. Like, I'm not heard, please listen, listen, listen. And it really doesn't make for a very fun relationship for either part of the party. So listen first, and that's all really Taylor did. She didn't use any crazy skill that she has. I mean, she just listened and stayed present and spent time with this mare and respected her feelings.
Well, maybe she just needed you.
It's true, though. In this instance, I don't think Taylor did anything special except care enough to put in the time and listen. I don't think she has the skill to do anything that I would consider truly special. That being said, I do think she's a kind girl. She's smart and she's willing and she really wants to create and bring out the best in everyone, and that's exactly what Jasmine needed. So while I don't think she has any special skill and did anything super crazy, she is a really nice, lovely person, and that's reflected in Jasmine accepting her and liking her.
I'm afraid I can't. I'm barren.
I do think that is part of her frustration about Taylor being in their lives in the first place. It kind of reminds her how much she can't have children and she really wants to have children. The fact that she knows her husband can have children and she's the problem and she seems to be the one that wants kids the most makes it really hard on her. I wish she would just embrace the child he already has and say, I can't have children, but look at my husband's child and make this her daughter. She could take that role and be Taylor's mom if she wanted to. And there's always adoption, which I think is so underrated. Everyone wants the child to be their own flesh and blood. And I really think adoption is a fantastic option for a lot of couples.
I've accepted it.
You have not accepted it or you wouldn't be bawling about it.
The fact that you're here shows me that I'm the problem.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, Janice.
It's absolutely true. There is more than one way to skin a cat, which is such a gruesome analogy, but there's many ways to have children. And again, it doesn't have to be your own flesh and blood. You can adopt, you could do surrogacy, you could do so many things to have a child. This is a problem a lot of couples face. It's becoming more and more common, I feel. Maybe it's just being talked about more. I'm not really sure. Again, it's not the world I live in. But there are so many options she could be pursuing, and she's not, because she's too busy being upset about how she can't get pregnant naturally. She needs to let go of that I can't get pregnant and I want to, so that she can move forward and bring in some sort of child in her life in a different fashion, anything that she feels comfortable with and will satisfy her desire to raise a child.
It looks cat.
Alright, so the boyfriend has now shown up at the riding academy. I'm not really sure what he's doing here, why he's here. I assume he's gonna wreak havoc of some sort, and he thinks that by wreaking havoc and causing some sort of issue, that they will kick Taylor out, and when Taylor comes back to live in the city, she'll get back together with him. I think those are a lot of assumptions that aren't very accurate. I don't think that there's anything he's gonna do that he's gonna be able to get them to blame Taylor for. And then I'm not convinced, I sure hope she wouldn't move in with him even if she did move back to live with her aunt. So I'm not really understanding this thought process. But I also think this guy doesn't have a lot of morals, so what does he have to lose? It's not like this is a huge, monumental struggle for him to take this leap and do whatever he's about to do. He does bad things on a daily basis and he doesn't feel bad for them, so why not do another bad thing and see if it works? It's a terrible way of living life.
So there's that horse that you so much.
Or maybe this is just vengeance, actually. Because he's specifically going to Jasmine, the horse he knows Taylor cares about a lot and really likes. So perhaps this is literally just vengeance and just, well, she screwed me over by not doing this credit card scam, so now I'm gonna hurt her. Could be. It's a real crappy way of acting, but could be. Alright, so he just left the stall door open. And while she didn't come out initially, she did eventually decide to leave. Not uncommon. I do have one horse that I know will stay in his stall because the guys did leave the door open a couple times. I was turning everyone out in the morning and I, for a while, was leaving him in to finish his breakfast. And I think the guys would just forget that he was in there because he is so quiet and just kind of stays in his own corner. A couple times they left the door open. He didn't go anywhere. I'm less than shocked. I mean, I wouldn't have thought he would go anywhere. I have others that as soon as you open the door, they're going to follow you out, whether you ask them to or not. So really just depends on the horse to whether they're going to come out or not. I would assume if you leave a door open long enough, almost every horse is going to come out. Obviously, in the case of ours that I know won't come out, I wasn't leaving him in there for hours. I was leaving him in there for an extra 45 minutes to an hour, and he was diligently eating his grain, so he didn't really want to go outside. He had like no, oh, I want to get outside now. Versus like right now, because he's going out to eat fresh grass in the morning, and I no longer leave him in extra time, he'd probably be in a big hurry to go out, so he might leave his stall. It's possible. I kind of doubt it just because I know the horse, but it's possible given enough time he might decide to leave because he does really want that fresh grass and he's sitting there waiting to go out every morning until I grab him. Again, really crappy thing to do though on this boyfriend's part, to leave that door open. And then real quick, I just wanted to mention that they had a halter and lead rope on that horse when she left that stall. I'm assuming they did that just for safety's sake. They didn't want to actually let this horse loose on the property, so having the halter and lead rope, they knew they could catch her in a second. She was probably actually running out to somebody. Somebody had probably drawn her or like called her to come to them, and they were going to grab her with that rope when she came. I think that they could have set up a situation where there was still an enclosed environment and she could run out of the stall and into another enclosure, and they could have closed the gate there. I think that just would have filmed a lot better. Although they tried to do it fast and kind of blur it out, I still clearly saw the halter with the lead rope around her back. And that's just, I mean, it's unrealistic. There's no way somebody's gonna have a halter and lead rope on a horse in a stall 24/7. And obviously this guy didn't put anything on the horse before he let her loose. So Taylor is feeding in the morning and finds out that Jasmine is gone and looks like she hasn't been in her stall at all last night, I would be very concerned about that. I wouldn't be calling somebody for help like there was an emergency on my hands, because a missing horse is not exactly the same as like somebody that's dying or bleeding out or something. Like, you need help instantly. I'm not saying it's not a priority to get the horse back, but you know, like, the horse has been out all night. Getting somebody this very second, like the world is ending, isn't going to make any difference than getting somebody in 10 minutes to help you go look for the horse, because you are going to have to go out and search for this horse. At this point, you have no idea where she is, and she's been gone a long time, so chances are she has probably wandered quite a bit.
No, I can't believe this. Who would go in there and let her out?
Alright, so they did a very simple search. Don't know where she is. She did go pretty far. I'm not entirely certain why she would go really far. Doesn't seem super common to me, but could happen, especially since she was out at night. If she's not used to being out at night, she might have left the bar and kind of wandered around the turnouts and then gotten spooked by something and then really taken off. That would probably be the most likely option. And again, we know she was out all night, so she had plenty of time to get scared and run off or do whatever she wanted to do.
It's him. I know it's him.
I think blaming her ex-boyfriend is awfully bold of her. I wouldn't have come to the conclusion that it was him right away. I mean, I guess she knows him though, and he probably is vengeful. That's probably why he did it, and she probably knows that like, when somebody upsets him, he takes it out on them. Really just a crummy person in every way, right? So that's probably why she thinks it's him. She left. She knows she upset him, so he's gonna take it out on her. It wouldn't have been my first thought though. But again, I mean, I don't know him like she knows him, so.
This is all my fault.
Taylor, look, don't worry about the blame.
It's not Taylor's fault. She didn't let her out. And they're acting like this is the end of the world. I mean, this is not like a sick, dying animal that if you don't find her right now and give her her meds, she's gonna die. This is a horse, probably out in the woods, lost. You just need to go find her. So either go hiking and look around the woods, or get on some horses and go searching. You know what general area she is, and you're gonna be able to find her. I mean, this happens all the time. Occasionally, people really won't be able to find horses because they've like fallen off a cliff and gotten into brush and really gotten injured. When like people are out trail riding and the horse spooks and the rider comes off and whatnot. That's a little bit more of a dangerous situation because the horse has all this tack on, they get caught up in things, and often they got hurt in the initial spook of the rider coming off. They like jumped off a cliff or something insane and then got lost from there. But it does happen all the time. Horses are found like freaking weeks later, still in one piece. Obviously not in great condition, but alive still. It's been one night. Go find the freaking horse. If you don't find her today, keep looking for her. I'm sure she will turn up. And she's not gonna starve to death or die in a couple days. I mean, horses can live longer than that, especially well cared for horses. They can survive on their own without dying for probably a few weeks. It's not like there's nothing to eat or drink out there either.
I'll take the south side, you take the north. Check in in, say, 2 hours.
Alright, so the father's being much more reasonable. That's a great plan. Have Rocky go to one side of the property, he goes to the other side of the property, and they search for this horse and check back in 2 hours since they probably won't have cell service. Seems like a good plan. I think depending on how much acreage you're planning on searching, you might want to set up a bigger kind of like grid system. Everyone searches a mile grid essentially, and then you all check back in an hour, something like that. But I don't know how much acreage they have and how likely they think it is that she really went far. If they have perimeter fencing on this property, which I'm gonna go ahead and assume they do, because almost every equestrian facility does, the likelihood is she stayed within the perimeter fencing. And that does give you a lot less space to work with. She's not loose in like a national park or something, and that can be kind of a daunting task. She's loose on your property. I don't know how many acres they have. Again, it could be hundreds, but it is a finite amount of space that you just need to divide up and search until you find her. And then I think setting a time to check back in is a great idea if you don't have great cell service, because there's no point in somebody out there searching for, 6 hours when somebody else finds the horse in 2 hours and then, can't find the other person that's out there searching because now they're essentially out of communication. So great plan. I'm sure they'll find the horse.
I'll do whatever I have to do. We have to find her.
I'm not surprised Taylor wants to go. I mean, she's awfully invested in finding this horse. I really don't know why. Alright, so they're trying to show that the horse is indeed out here running around, kind of having fun. I doubt at this point, the horse was let out last night. I highly doubt the horse would be running around in the morning. This looks like a horse that was just turned out in this big field, and it's super excited to be outside after being in a stall. I'm sure that's what they did to film it. In actuality, had this horse been out all night, by this point the horse is going to be used to the idea of being out and kind of standing somewhere. They're not going to still be running. If they were running all night and now still running, they would be so tired they'd probably have collapsed by now. It's just not realistic. Wow, what an episode. So her ex-boyfriend just let the horse out in vengeance, I'm assuming at this point, and they are still out looking for the horse. So in the next segment, hopefully they find that horse really quickly and all is well. Taylor is freaking out, completely losing her mind. I'm having trouble thinking the horse is going to be really in that bad a shape by the time they find it. We're not talking weeks at this point. So I think it's a little over dramatized. The horse got out, horses get out, you find them, you move on. But anyway, I'm waiting to see when they get into that training for a competition thing. They'd mentioned a couple segments ago and we didn't see any of that this segment. So maybe next segment? Movie's almost over. Are we not gonna get any competing? I was excited for that, so let's see. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.